We have to stop calling the United States a democracy. That's my point of this video. You know, you always hear people call the United States as a democracy. It's a democracy. We're promoting democracy, blah, 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 blah. Fact of the matter is, the United States is not a democracy. It was founded as a republic. Now, what's the difference between a republic and a democracy? Pure democracy is ruled by the majority. If you get 51% of the votes, then you rule. Whatever it is you want that has 50% of the votes becomes law. It's ruled by the majority. A republic is ruled by law. It's a very important distinction. Why? Because let's say the majority decide that your house is on land that they want to make into a wind farm, or they want to give it to somebody else. Law gives you a right to certain property. Law says this is you have a law saying that you have a right to own property. Well, by that very act of having that law, you've created an environment in which the majority's wishes cannot be achieved. So, that is what the United States was based on. It wasn't ruled by the majority. It is a republic. And if you don't believe me, look how they refer to it in the writings of our founding fathers. They talk about it as a republic, not as a democracy. And this is not an accident. Now, is it democratic? Yes, to a degree. We vote the officials into office, and that is the degree of our democracy. We only vote for our leaders. We don't actually vote really on laws so much. Now, there is exceptions to the rule, but in general, we don't vote for our laws. The representatives we send to government vote for our laws. And that's a little different. It's a fine point, but it's an important point. And why do we need to stop calling it a democracy? What's wrong with that? Well, here's the problem. Democracy is an unstable form of government. Democracy ruled by the majority leads to chaos, all sorts of corruption, and etc. It is frequently a precursor to socialist states, which is a precursor to communist states. Communists consider themselves democratic. They gain their power by representing themselves as being representative of the will of the people and looking out for the people and etc. You know, the whole worker class thing. And they play up that role, worker class versus those evil rich people of the week, whoever happens to be in their way politically, is the evil rich person of the week that needs to be smashed. Now, when they do this, they claim to be representing the will of the majority. And this is very easy for them to claim because, let's face it, if you're coming into a workplace and you have 30 employees and one owner, it's easy to say, I represent the 30 employees. They're the majority, therefore they should take over the business from the owner because, well, gosh, gee willikers, there's more of them than the owner, 30 to 1. So it's democracy. And this is how they claim power. Now, do the people actually flourish under it? Of course they don't. But the people in power using the masses do. And they further expand centralized government and create a socialist state. Socialist states, by their very nature, start creating communist states. Why? So the only difference really between a socialist state and a communist state is the oppression of the counter voices in society. It's the final step of saying that group, the other group needs to be silenced because we can't hear the opposition is dangerous or whatever. They'll throw whatever reasoning in for why they have to silence this other group. Then it becomes communistic because then the government is essentially running everything. In a socialist state, they're essentially running everything anyways. They're just doing it through heavy regulation and etc. instead of direct ownership. In a communist state, they take it just that one step further. Instead of managing everything, they now own everything. It's a very slight difference, and it is very slight because in a socialist state, For you to own something in a socialist state means that you have to play ball with the politic leaders. In a communist state, the people that they put in charge of the businesses are still playing ball with the political leaders. So there's very little difference between the two in practicality. They still have a boss, and he'll still be running it, and he'll still be living much better than you. But he is installed by the government as opposed to being the owner in a socialist state. But in the socialist state, the owner is still having to do everything that the person that was put in there by the government would be doing, because the government is controlling every aspect of their business. And this is how they use the word democracy to establish socialistic and then communistic governments. It is a distortion of what the founding fathers wanted. Do we live in a democracy? Yes, we vote for our political leaders. That is the extent and limit of our democracy. But it's our representative leaders that, through the republic, that control the government and control the laws. Now we can get rid of them and etc. and pick them based on what promises they make and what they're going to do when they're in the office. But that's far different from voting on each individual law. It's not ruled by the majority. It's ruled by representatives that were elected from the people. And that is the distinction between a democracy and a republic. And a republic is ruled by law. Democrats and democracies don't like the Constitution and don't like the laws. Why? Because they don't like the laws not in the sense that they're anti-law. They're very much so pro-law. They're just anti-laws that they can't change easily. They want to be able to change laws at will, and based on whatever their political motive at the moment is. And they hate laws, prohibit them from making these changes. So there you have the problem. To stop this undermining of our society, we have to start calling our country by its proper title. It is a republic. It is not, and I repeat, not a democracy. And I say that largely because the word democracy has been corrupted and usurped by a movement that uses it to take away freedom from people. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a good day, and God bless you.